Alright, good morning, RPG Limit Break. What a great Live Alive run there. My name's Noraystra. We'll be joined here by Wildfire.
I'm going to say good afternoon to you all, because it's almost 5 p.m. where I am.
Yeah, it is a little bit after, or before 11 a.m. here, but we're going to do a Breath of Fire DeeJ% run. It's a little bit of a lesser-known, newer category. So kind of walk through the setup here. It's a debug code that we have, and so what you do is on a second controller on your Super NES, you hold A, Y, and the L and R buttons, and then you input a set of arrow commands. So you're going to go up 4 times, right twice, down 8 more times, and then left. Your screen will turn red. Once that happens, there's a list of codes. Most of them are all Street Fighter codes. And so you enter one, and when you hit end, you set your game up how you like it. And then you go to the normal game start, and you see I now start at level 29.
Excellent. This file starts us about an hour away from the end of the game. We've got a bunch of side questing to do, which is very apt for this marathon, and then a boss rush to go and save the world.
Yep. So I think with that, my save file is ready. So are you ready?
I am ready. If you want to count down.
All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. Right, this begins near the end of the game. We've got a party that's relatively leveled up, but we are missing all of the equipment and all of the items we need to actually complete the game. So we are going to be going around the map, checking that the elevator doesn't work for scan day, and then we are going to be going and getting the rod, which allows us to go and get all the dragon equipment, which allows us to then go and get all the dragons, which allows us to then go and actually beat the game.
Yeah. And so, like you said, we start full party. We have the ability to fly right away. If you've seen the RPGs such as, the randomizers such as Free Enterprise, we have Free Bird.
Yeah, free access to everywhere. The bird's very useful, but flying can be a bit of a pain sometimes. But you get a warp spell that takes you places as well. But yeah, it's just knowing where you need to go, getting the things you want to do, and not making any horrible mistakes. This game doesn't have, or this category I should say, doesn't have too much in the way of random battles. There's an item in this game that thankfully allows you to completely bypass them all. Breath of Fire 2 fixed that by making it so that it does next to nothing and you fight random battles all the time, so thankfully we're on this one instead.
The smoke does work, it just doesn't work as well.
Doesn't work anywhere near as well. I've done Terra% enough times to know how badly it works.
Yeah, so in here, the Marble 3, which we'll be picking up here shortly, lets us completely skip encounters. Breath of Fire 2, they put in smokes, but it's 127 steps that we can take without a single encounter.
It means that you want to time them because you get a text box come up when it ends, warning you that you can now have encounters again. So you want to time it so that that doesn't come up because that wastes time. So you want to buy 12 of these. And 3 ones. 12 are those memorable ones. They give you guaranteed critical hits against enemies in battle. They're very useful. When we get the dragons in this game, they do set amounts of damage, and a critical hit does double. So this is very good and efficient.
They lose their value rapidly, though, with this category because, we'll get to that in a minute. But speaking of that, we're going to fish up our first armor piece.
Yeah, getting the armor pieces in this game, you need the Rod 5 to get them, and then they are hidden around the map in really ludicrous places. If you do not have a guide to this game, you are going to be in trouble trying to get the true ending, because these are required to get the final dragon form. And as far as I'm aware, there's nowhere in the game that actually warns you or gives you clues as to where to get these.
There is one. You can fish up the tablet. I don't remember which fishing platform it is, but it's one of the more obvious ones.
Does that tell you the locations of these?
I don't know that it tells you the locations, but it tells you it kind of hints that the wells are what you need to fish, and then it talks about the power being under the well. I don't remember
the tablet tells
exactly.
you that the grand power is under the water, but it doesn't tell you about all these, as far as I'm aware. And it doesn't tell you where to get the Rod 5, which is just under a drawer.
Yeah. Now, this does work on the Switch version, if you're wondering. The only versions it doesn't work on would be the 3DS and the Game Boy Advanced port.
Yeah, no second player on the Game Boy Advance.
Well, the Game Boy Advance is just a complete remake. It has a lot of changes to it, including run speed.
It's a very good, easier category because the run is a lot faster. You get more experience. There's a run button, which is nice.
And it has the only glitch. It has the infinite money glitch, which makes everything better.
We'll call that a quality of life change.
That is.
Right, so you get 4 of these pieces of equipment. I've got 3 of them, and I'm just about to get the 4th. Ooh. If you fly to the spot next to it, you waste a little bit of time because everyone has to move when you get back up again.
Yeah, I got
once you've got the 4 pieces. Once you've got the 4 pieces of equipment, you need to fly to the first of the dragon shrines, which will get you your first dragon ability. Find that.
Yeah, so what is DeeJ percent? It is a quick debug category, and yes, this was found by Miria-chan. She was one of the ones who worked on the Final Fantasy V fan translation. There was some work done on a Breath of Fire 1 translation. I will post a link to the commands after we finish.
Right, so first boss, you can just auto-battle this one because you're a high enough level that you'll get through it. If you're lucky, you'll do this in 2 hits, but I'm getting low damage rolls, you want 230 or more, so that's going to take me 4 hits, of course.
You're crushing me right now. I had some bad RNG in Toonland. I had people just walk right in my path.
My last practice, I had someone walk in front of the staircase and they didn't move for about 15 seconds, so that was wonderful.
Yeah, that was the... Oh, I got the double slam.
Oh, there we go. That makes up time.
Makes up a lot of time.
That sounds like a gold split.
That is a gold split.
Right, after getting the first one, the original route didn't have you doing this now, but it got rerouted. You now go and collect a mysterious item that is not a weapon, but is used later on to get into the final dungeon. There's this old man and this old woman who both collect weapons but don't know each other, and they both want to find other people who collect weapons, so you've got to do a little trading quest with them.
Because side quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Always good.
Yeah, fly back and forth, speak to them a few times, let them each appraise the thing, but they don't know what it is. And then when it's not a weapon, they will just give it to you. They've all got very, very messy houses.
Yeah, so really early on, the only RNG you run into is the people in Toonland who walk, and then the boss attack animation. Other than that, we are not going to have to deal with random encounters or any other real RNG, so it's a fairly safe route.
Yeah, it's good for the skills you'll get on this, like all the menuing and the movement. General execution is good for your full run. I would still recommend this as a run for somebody who wants to get into the main game, because it does teach you the route for like the end of the game pretty much, and all of the menuing is stuff you're going to need to know if you want to do the full run. But if you don't have 6 hours to do the full run, then this is a nice little mini run.
And then you have the question of, why does everyone have a puzzle in their bedroom? Just, random puzzles.
The whiz kit has been acquired. Yeah, learning to fly well is probably one of the more difficult things in terms of execution on this. It's not quite as hard as rolling in Breath of Fire 2, but you definitely waste a little bit of time if you don't land in the right places.
Well, and you don't have the 50% chance of an encounter every time you bonk. It's more Great Bird than rolling.
Yeah. Right, so there we go. I've got the eye claw, and now if you talk to him again, he wants you to introduce him to the woman. You never can, but yeah. He needs to learn to fly. So then we go to Gant, and we get the parts that we picked up from the guy in the bed fixed. That'll allow us to fix the elevator in Scanned, which will take us to the lair of the final boss, but we can't get there yet. We've got more to do. So this lazy sleeping guy is going to fix the parts for us. He just needs to be kicked out of bed.
I forgot to split my claw. Oh well.
Right, we're going to go to the next dragon shrine after this, because it's on the way to the elevator we've now got the parts to fix. And you will start to see why dragon transformations are so powerful in this game. Throughout all the Breath of Fire games, the way the dragon transformations have been handled has changed quite a lot. They've been nerfed and buffed and nerfed and buffed. They are probably at their most powerful in this game, especially when you get the final one.
Oh, the final one's just broken.
Yeah. Right, so we need to change to Ryu, and we're good. So for this battle, we'll be moving into the back row to take less damage, and then we will just be turning to a dragon and getting guaranteed critical hits for a while. Turning to a dragon first, that's always good. So Thunder Dragon, because it's the most powerful. They give you 3 elements, but the Thunder one always does the most damage if there's no elemental affinity involved.
Yeah.
Right, so the Memorable one gives you a guaranteed slam. It's all very good terminology.
Yeah. Which slams in here is our obviously critical hit.
And Memorable is probably meant to be marble. Not that that makes any more sense as to why marbles are both used to give you critical hits and also to avoid enemy encounters, but we're not going to question it. This is an early RPG.
And I got a lucky break. I forgot to move the back row and he missed.
I don't think he can kill you if you don't do it in this, unless you get really unlucky. So.
He doesn't. You see, I'm in here taking the moment to do some inventory management, just getting some spaces clear for when we do our next purchase round.
I will do that in the next battle. You can do it pretty much any time. But yeah, it's important because there's a bunch of items you pick up and you want them near the top of the inventory because you'll be using them a lot in the second half of the run. And it's a lot faster to have them there than to have to scroll down all the time.
Yeah. And as far as the difference between the Marble 1 and Marble 2, I don't believe there's any real difference. I think they were supposed to be, but...
I keep hearing rumors that the Memorable 2 only gives you a critical hit if you're in dragon form. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Probably
I've tried
not. But let's be honest, like every other 90s JRPG, the coding is suspect in some areas.
Alright, so we're done with this, so we fly back down to where we started off this file. And even though we are the bad guys of this game, they're the evil empire, they will let us in if we've got the pass. I guess it's okay, go ahead. We're wanted people, big generals of the Dark Dragons have been out trying to kill us, but if we show the soldiers the pass, it's fine, we can go in.
Oh, I got a meat. That's a bad drop. That's gonna be a nuisance to fix in a minute.
This elevator is also great. It's a lot like the Metal Gear Solid 3 climb in the middle, just without quite as good music. You get to the top and you're like, I'm there, and then you have to go up another one.
And it's too short for a coffee break.
Yeah.
Which after doing, 4 or 5 hours of this, you're like, can I just go to the bathroom?
Right, when you get to the top, as I am now, you meet this suspiciously cloaked man, who is definitely not one of the big bads of the game in disguise.
No, never. He would, that wouldn't be right.
Our snake lady can get us out of here with magic, so we don't have to do that elevator again.
Well, yet.
And now we have to go and get the third one, so we're going to walk to our hometown, we're going to do some more shopping, and then we are going to go and get the third shrine for some more dragon transformations.
I'm tailing just behind you, I'm on the elevator now.
Ooh, very close. Right, so here we will be buying the memorable ones, which are the ones that avoid battles. 1, 2...
Those should be the 3s, I think.
You're correct. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 of those, and 5 cures for safety, just because in case things go bad, you need to be able to restore your health. But yeah, 15 memorable 3s will get us through all of the rest of the game without any random.
I think it leaves us with 1 extra in case we screw up, but yeah.
Yeah. And then here's the final shrine. Right, this one does have a small chance of killing you. If the bird gets 2 lucky critical hits, then you can die. So you have to have healing items ready. So he's weak to fire, so we use the fire dragon in this one. And we cross our fingers he doesn't get any critical hits, and we continue to get guaranteed crits against him, because that's fair.
And we're not cheating at all.
No. Right, this is the last of my original stack of 9s, so I'll do my inventory management now. Now I've bought all my items, I'm going to move them up.
I have to do another set because of the silly meat drop.
Right, so removal 1, removal 3, cures and removals. That's everything I need for the game at the top. So I will removal away. I've got exactly enough that this will leave an empty space at the front of my inventory. I want him not to give me his drop, because if he does, it will fill that space. If it's empty, an item I get in a minute will fill it, and it's just a little bit quicker.
Yeah. So he's probably going to drop it because he's a jerk.
Yeah, it's a low % chance, but it happens more than you would imagine. Right, so I didn't get critted to death, so he is now going to die.
Oh. And yet again, menuing is important.
Hey, no drops. Excellent.
Here's our
Right.
spot.
So I said it was weird and obscure to get the final dragon in the game needed to get the true ending. You can only get into these shrines if you have got all of the equipment we collected with the rod. And now you need to have done all 3 of these shrines in order to get the final dragon, which is hidden in an area of the game that you probably wouldn't know existed, because it's somewhere you go really early and gives no hints that you have to go there again later on.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, random cave.
So this is also where we start using our memorable 1s. So the forces of evil are now protected from, and if I do this correctly, you will not see any messages saying my memorable 3s have run out, unless I am somewhere where I'm not going to get battles, like during a cutscene or after a cutscene or something like that. Yeah, towns, after important cutscenes.
I managed to not get wrecked by the bird.
Good.
And he didn't drop. Yay!
Even better. Perfect. Right, so first memorable here. My rule is, if I think I need to use a memorable 3 somewhere, I use it 5 steps before. No, I use it 5 steps earlier, because usually I'm really good at guessing like 130 steps, so it's just after I need to have used it.
Yeah.
So my new rule is, I think I need to use it now, let's use it 5 steps ago. So in the main story of the game, you come down here to get some this holy cleansing water that cures a town where everyone is now zombies. The town's called Romero, which is quite a nice reference. But yeah, you come back here, and you can talk to this guy, who will now give me Agni. This is the move that once you get it, it basically breaks the game, because it combines all of your party members into this one weird golden dragon, and you guarantee do 999 damage every round, and you get massively enhanced stats for everyone in your party now being one person.
Yeah. The biggest downside is it slams often, and slams are considerably slower at that point.
Yep.
It's like...
Right, so we exit out, and now we go and collect the... back to Tunland to collect the D-Hurt, which is the robed man earlier was telling us about the weapon that can kill any dragon. And it is the D-Hurt, which is probably the Dragon Heart, but I remember calling it the Dragon Hurt when I was a kid, because kids are silly. And it does a lot of damage to dragons. It's also a song.
And I already missed my first text box. Yay! Just losing stuff there like crazy. So now I am on my way down to pick up the spell, and I'll be exiting and following close behind to getting...
So now we go back to... Oh, there we go. Mine ran out in town, which means I did it correctly. So we fly back to Scanned again. Sconde, Scanned, I don't know how you meant to say it.
I always call it scanned.
Now we have the Dehurt, Robed Man will be gone, and we can progress to go and take out the big bad, Zog.
He's not that big and bad.
Well, it's funny because you're a member of the Light Dragons, Ryu, and you're against the Dark Dragons, who are the main bad guys, and all of the generals turn into things that are distinctly not dragons, apart from Zog. He's the only one who does.
I think there's one set of dragons. No. Yeah.
Well, where we can turn into the bird, you see a lot of the random soldiers and minions in cutscenes turn into dragons that fly around the map in the same way, but you never see any of the enemies do it, apart from Zog.
I think, we fight a lot of squids.
Frogs, weird chimeras, bacteria, everything but dragons. So, alright, I'm using my Memorable 3 again, because we can get encounters in here. We just follow a rather elaborate and circuitous path to Zog now.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward shot. We get into the standard late 90s, or early 90s, late 80s JRPGs of padding dungeons, where you just...
Everything's a labyrinth.
Everything's a labyrinth just because they can.
But yeah, our side questing is mostly over now. Now it's all important story quests.
That's boss rush. Well, we have one more side quest to do.
Yeah, after this we've got to go and use that iron claw that we got from the item trading to teach Mogu, our mole person, how to dig. Because
the only thing he's used for.
Their species.
That's the only thing he's used for in this entire game.
That is incorrect. In this run, he is used to deliver the final hit to Sarah.
That's true too. I think he does in the normals run as well, usually. Just depends on if Karn's faster or not.
Yeah. This game also has that great thing that a lot of old RPGs do, where even in late game dungeons, random chests can contain the basic healing items from the beginning of the game. Oh, darn it.
2 healing items in the game are cures and herbs.
Yep, and you get herbs, which restore 40 HP even here in the final dungeons.
And the cures, which just basically heal you.
You get M drops as well. Your mega elixirs of this game.
Yep.
Alright, so this is Zog's extremely dangerous throne room.
Yeah, I'm just starting the ascent. So...
The world is his. Right, so now that we have Agni, boss fights are a lot easier. We simply go.
We count.
Yeah. So we get everyone to defend, we get Ryu or DeeJ to turn into Agni, which we get a little cutscene for, and then we hit auto battle. And that pretty much does it. The bosses in this game have a second wind mechanic, which you will become familiar with and probably hate if you play this game for the first time, where you deplete their health bar and they get down to nothing, but then they get a second wind and their health bar stays at the absolute minimum, so you've got no idea how much health they've got left afterwards.
Yeah, so the first bit of RNG is going to come up here on Fireside.
Yeah. You can see that I got a fire spell, which is the longest attack he can do.
Yeah, Zog's got
twice in a row. Wonderful.
I believe it's 3 attacks, maybe 4. I know he's got the Snoot Boop, the Fire Breath, and then he's got a Lightning attack.
That little Snoot Boop, or like kisses as I call them, they're the best ones because they take the least time.
Yes.
As you can see, I'm about to kill him, but I'm not because he's down to... Oh, he's fire again.
Good, he's behaving for me, giving me a chance to catch up. Yeah, so Zog has 6 hits in his first phase, and then about 10 in his second phase.
Problem is, if he fire again, if he does this too much, I'll need to heal, which is not ideal at all. But it looks like at this rate, I may have to if he does one more of those. It's also funny how he's one of the few dragons in the game, and they didn't even model his entire body. It's just a really, really long neck and a head. Right, so he's now playing ball with me, that's good.
Yeah, he's being a jerk to me right now. 1 Snoot Boop, 2 fireballs.
I think I've had 4 fireballs so far. Oh, and there's this fire breath, which takes a load of time but doesn't do much damage.
Yeah. His 2 fire attacks are just infinite long. The lightning hurts.
Oh,
and then the Snoot Boop. And I've only seen the lightning like once in probably 50 runs now. And it scared me so much that I actually like walked away from the run for a minute.
So I wasn't counting, so I don't know if I'm 1 hit away from killing him, so I'm going to cure just in case. So I've had to use the healing item there, which is wasting time. I'm probably going to kill him in 1 hit now, I mean, I didn't need to.
So I've got 10 hits to go on my part.
I've got 1 or 2 to go. 1 to go, there we go. Zog is down. So he is the leader of the Dark Dragons, but that is obviously not the end of the game because RPGs don't allow you to just kill the person who seems to be the leader. Turns out, robed shadowy man we met earlier, he has something to say about this. Plot point you're definitely going to have missed because you didn't see the start of the game is that at the very beginning of the game, in the opening cutscene, Ryu's sister, who is also one of the Light Dragons, goes to try and save the town, fails, and you never see her again until now, when she's waiting in this dungeon underneath Zog's lair, apparently. And having not seen her this entire time, as you've gone and done your main quest of getting all the keys to unleash the goddess, you obviously, with no questions asked, just give her the keys you've worked so hard to earn, because she's definitely going to be 100% trustworthy at this point.
I've got 1 or 2 more hits here on Zog, and then I will be on my way. Okay, stop breathing fire, dude. And there's Zog.
So that's the last of the keys. The story for this is the goddess is being locked away, and these 7 keys free her, and the Dark Dragons want to because they're evil, and they want to wish for the goddess, and you're trying to collect the keys first to stop them. But we have just given them to Sarah, who, oh, surprise, surprise, has been mind-controlled by the main bad guy.
Yeah.
Jade was Zog's underling, and surprise, he now is usurping him as main bad guy.
Yep. Plot twist.
So we're now trapped in this dungeon forever until we walk to the bottom of it and some moles release us by accident. And this will allow us to do our final little side quest, which will be visiting this mole people's village after we've released them. And you can see Mogo at the back of our party. He will learn how to dig into the final dungeon.
I'm still trying to figure out why they're digging up to get out of here.
Yeah, it's definitely a question worth asking. Why did he dig upwards to try and escape?
It's a plot hole. It's not just a convenient hole, it's a convenient plot hole.
Alright, the talkative guy has moved, so we can now go. We're going to ignore them and just go to their town, because we don't have the time. Also, now that Zog's been defeated, everyone apparently knows this, that all these soldiers now, you know, they don't know what to do with their lives. News travels fast.
I mean, I guess it's better than most of the time where it's like, you're on the final dungeon and they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, the town needs to be saved still.
Oops. Right, we're going to grammar, if I can menu correctly. Right, so the moles obviously live in an underground town, because that's how it would work.
I mean, yes.
Now that all the prisoners got here before us somehow, we put Mogo in front and learn how to dig.
It's a shame you can't actually exit Scond. You actually have to walk out.
Yeah. It's very weird, like the exit spell allows you to leave dungeons, but the game's very odd about what it considers a dungeon sometimes.
Yeah.
Right, so with that done, we now need to go and confront Jade again. So we fly to another place we went to earlier in the game, and we go further than we were allowed to at the point we first went there. Oops, that's there. I went too far.
Yeah, the fun part about the normal speedrun is you come up here 3 times. On the second trip, you come up to pick up the second most powerful dagger and one of the most powerful armors that are on the 2 statues close to the top. We don't really need those.
Yeah, we've got Agni. No need for armor.
Yeah. Who needs armor? Who needs attack? We're good.
Oops. Right, so in this we switch to Khan, who is our thief. He has the excellent ability to be able to open... Oh no! Right, I didn't want to use a Murable there because you can usually get to these stairs without it. Random battles only start like 8 steps after you leave, get into an area. But I got the random battle on the last step, obviously.
Oh. Yeah, there's... So, I spent a good time digging into the code, and I think 7 is guaranteed, and the 8th is where it's a low chance. But it's not 0, but it's not high that you're going to run into a encounter there.
Right, so yeah, those doors can't be opened the first time you come here because you don't have Khan and his thiefy skills, and then usually when you can't get up here as a result. And then when you come back up here, nothing happens until you're at this point in the game. So, but this is the screen on those 2 statues on the left and right where you would usually find the overpowered weapon and armor. And we have our sister,
who randomly says she's going to help and or kill you.
Yes, it's unclear as to which.
At any given time, it could be both.
Right, Jade has used the keys now to unleash the goddess, so now it's a case of it's the race of who can get to the goddess first to make their wish. Get through here and we start using our Murbles correctly. This is another one of those dungeons that's just a bit of a labyrinth with lots of false ways to go and lots of chests containing items you're never going to need at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Herbs and antidotes, woohoo. But it does lead us to our next boss battle, which will be against our sister. Oops, wrong way.
If you casually play the game, the tower where it just spawned is a great leveling, grinding spot. It's also got the Trimarang when it pops up, but yeah, we're not really ever going to pick that up.
You've got a very limited time to get that, don't you? It's got to pop up, but you've got to do it. You can even use it
basically now.
Yeah.
At that point, why would you bother?
Well, you've probably got Agni by that point, so...
It's a fabulous weapon, though. Just...
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, the developers did also put the best sword in the game behind the final boss, so... Or behind the...
Yeah. Right, so Sarah has put up a force field, which when we touch it, reduces... the party takes some damage. What it actually does is reduces all of our party HP to 1, so it's quite a lot of damage.
That's some.
Yeah. And then, being unsure as to what she's doing, she accidentally, well, purposely walks into it herself, and then decides to let us go, but then as we're going decides not to let us go.
Yeah, the game intended to use the D-Hard on Zog, as Jade literally tells you, go get this item and use it on Zog.
As you can see,
yeah,
pretty effective against this dragon, this Gudra-looking dragon.
Yeah, so the reason why it's more effective here is she doesn't have a second wind. One of the only bosses in the game not to have one. So instead of only doing the 6,000 damage to Zog, we just kill her. She has about 15,000 HP, so it's a much better deal.
And here's the best text box in the game, in my opinion, which is Sarah if free from Jade's control.
I mean,
I always like typos.
So Capcom made this game. Square provided the translation and the distribution. It leaves some quality to be, missing there.
It was a very early RPG brought over to the West, so it suffers from being a very early RPG brought over to the West in many ways. There's lots of interesting things that were cut from the game in the translations. You can find them on the copy room floor. Did a really good article.
Oh no, I attacked with DeeJ, not Mogu.
Ooh.
Oh, this could be bad.
Well, you've got the water jar if needed.
Yeah, this can be scary. Oh,
well,
he got her.
Agni,
He got her.
Be fine.
Okay, we're good. Oh, a little bit of a heart attack there.
In when you use Agni, the only sort of stipulation is that all of your characters need to be alive to be able to use it. So if somebody dies in a battle, it can be pretty crippling because you're under-leveled for this point of the game and everyone has really bad armor. So you will struggle to get everyone back alive to be able to use it. But thankfully in that battle, Nora didn't need to worry because no Agni gets used. It's just the D-hurt and the attack.
Yeah, didn't lose any time really on that either because Mogu's turn is about the same as Ryu's apparently. So
that's good.
That's good to know.
After that emotional battle with Sarah anyway, now we make our way back up to continue to chase Jade. Through another weird labyrinth. Who knows what this is, just floating in space.
It's padding. I think they call it the Arcanum Sanctuary or something.
I love that name. I don't think it's called that anywhere officially, is it? But I like the name.
Yeah, when I first played this game as a kid growing up, I had the, I want to say it's a Prima strategy guide. And yeah, they did all sorts of things. Like they even in the strategy guide, they said, yeah, don't use the Dragon Heart on Zog, use it on Sarah. It's like, oh,
that's
okay.
Crap, considering one of the towns in this game is called Prima.
Yeah.
Right, so Jade has just, talked to the goddess and obliterated the tower. Now we are going to be sent back to our hometown, and we have to stop Jade before the goddess truly uses her power.
And what's the worst she's gonna do?
Heal you, apparently.
I mean...
And waste 5 seconds of your run.
Yes, that's the most infuriating part of that.
Yeah, so now we just get the little bit where the hero's been unconscious for a few days, the world is on the brink of ruin, and now that you're awake, the story can progress and we can go and save the world. The reason this town is so destroyed is because it's your hometown, and at the start of the game the Dark Dragons come and obliterate it and kidnap your sister. And despite the fact that the town next to this one rebuilds from the same state over the course of the game, your hometown doesn't. Probably because there's only 4 other people here.
And 2 of them are older than dirt.
Yeah, 2 of them are super old, and 2 of them are too busy being merchants to the 2 other people in this town. Right, so we would usually fly straight to Skand at this point, but for marathon safety, we're going to go and pick up an item that is hidden nearby called the Star Shield. Jade has an attack that instantly kills Agni, which is pretty bad, but thankfully the Star Shield gives you protection from instant kill attacks.
I, on the other hand, am going to be completely stupid and not pick that up because
Ooh.
I'm already 30 seconds behind, and that Seraphite gave me a heart attack.
Hey, time saving. Where are you at the moment?
I am finishing the cutscene, waking up.
Yeah, so not getting this is a good way of saving time, but on the low chance that you do get attacked with instant kill attack, you will be having a heart attack.
I will have bad time. Also, it's a little bit harder of a flight from where I am, but that's fine.
Alright, you needed to get the Iron Claw here, because you can dig through this gap. And then we enter the final dungeon, which gives us 3 more bosses to fight before the game is done. Right, so I will, whilst in this menu, I will equip the shield so I don't forget, because I've done that a few times before.
That's the worst part, is you forget to equip it and then he shocks you and you're just like, thanks game.
Yep, spending all the time getting it and then forgetting to equip it is pretty dire.
Yeah, the risk is low that he pulls the shock off, but
I think you see it on average like once every 3 or 4 battles, and then even when he uses it, it's got maybe a 50% hit rate.
It's less than that. I think the hit rate is actually like 20%, but yeah, you don't want to land.
Alright, so of course, because this is a old era RPG, we just need to navigate through this labyrinth to get there.
Oh, my menuing. No.
This one's truly the arcane sanctuary of these weird alien signs.
Yeah. But yeah, now we just make our way to a boss that's going to look very familiar to anyone who plays Mega Man.
Yeah, this boss is definitely, obviously Capcom are behind this game, and this is definitely a rejected Mega Man boss design. It's also kind of funny because this boss fight, he's one of the most ineffectual bosses in the game.
Oh goodness,
but he's also the third to final boss in the game.
He's so pathetic, and it's like, oh, you're the last boss? Yeah, remember to go up this time after the staircase.
Right, I'm going to risk not using a Mirable, because I think I somehow bought one less than I needed. So I'm just going to hope that I don't get my 8th step battle here.
Yeah, the run chance in this game is not as bad as the second game's run chance, but it's not free. Like, Breath of Fire 2 has a just awful run chance. Breath of Fire 3, they have a run chance of after the 3rd attempt at running, you're just freely allowed to run. We have no clue what it is here.
Right, as you can see, I'm against my definitely not Mega Man boss. And yeah, once you become Agni, you can't lose this fight. He has one attack, which is this. It will do 20 damage to you. You've got 1000 HP, and he takes, I think, 12 or 14 hits to kill.
Yeah, it's 12, 6 and 6.
Yeah. Even those slams aren't going to help him.
I was doing the math this morning, so I had to make sure to count and not heal inappropriately.
Yep. Yeah, so we sit through this one with his long attack animations that will do nothing to us.
Yeah, and just as you can see, not picking up the Star Shield has greatly caught me up. I am now starting the fight.
Ooh, that is good. Yeah, because it's like 30-40 seconds to get the shield.
Though I can absolutely lose it all in a single shock.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the final 2 boss battles have a lot of variance in the time they'll take. Well, I say actually, Tyr doesn't too much, but Jade does, definitely does.
Tyr can get some variance if she gets a little happy with her slams or her spells.
Yeah. In general, though, you're gonna heal 2 times on Tyr. It's highly unlikely you're going to need to heal 3. Or 1, I think, is pretty much impossible with the average damage, unless you've got like godlike misses.
Yeah, there's only one way to get 1 heal on it, or no heals, and that's if you get the Earth Robe, but that adds almost 2 minutes to the run.
Worth it in the full run, but not in this one.
On the full run, it saves you on, like, Moat and about 6 other horrible bosses.
Yeah, the Earth Robe, we don't get it here, but it absorbs every element. So all of the enemies, the bosses that use fire attacks, lightning attacks, etc. Instead of taking damage, you gain HP, which is really useful.
Makes Jade entirely free. I've auto-battled Jade and walked away from my computer.
Yep, Zog as well.
I'm just like, I'll be back in a minute.
Alright, so Goda is almost down.
I'm just hitting second wind.
Right,
6
there
more
we go.
attacks.
Goda is down. Blue levels up, 100% guaranteed. Learns a spell we're never going to touch. All the spells in this game, like the dragon attacks, have guaranteed damage as well, which seems a little bit strange compared to a lot of RPGs, but...
That's... yeah, a little bit... It's nice in some ways that you just know what's going to happen.
Right, so we now have one more little room here to do.
The heart room. And yeah, this run's no means over for either one of us, like I said. A shock. Jade has 4 attacks. He's got a little rock throw attack he's got a thunderbolt. He's got shock, and he's got one other thing he does. Blizzard.
He's got that little orb, isn't it?
He's got blizzard. And, you know, any of those can force a heal or a second heal on the party.
Healing once is like what you expect in this, but his thunder attack specifically does 400 damage, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, double thunder is...
used it too often, but if he does it twice, you can be in trouble.
Yeah, double thunder's bad.
And if you do, if Agni does get killed in this, you can recover from it because your party is still alive, apart from DeeJ. The problem is that with everyone having poor armor, you are in a tough time making sure everyone is alive in order to use Agni again.
Yeah, really the only shot you have is swap Ox in and drop the water jar. And even
Ox
then, yeah, you gotta move Ox to the back row and just hope that he doesn't lightning or it's not gonna matter.
Not sure why all these hearts are here, but we're done with those now.
So on to the final floor for you.
Yeah. There's a little bit of dialogue that's quite funny here against Jade, because he asks if you want to join him, and you can say yes. And then he orders you to stand still and not even breathe. And if you move, he will fight you. But if you don't move, you start getting battles thrown at you.
Yep.
Right, so I say I do not want to join. And there's some unique enemies that you don't see anywhere else in the game, apart from these battles that you can get with Jade. And I was saying earlier that not anything turns into a dragon, boss-wise, and Jade is a good example. One of the most powerful dark dragons, but is some kind of bacteria or virus,
something.
I guess.
Something. Not quite sure what.
Alright, the general rule here is if you get to just over 400 HP, to 500 or under, you want to heal, because you don't want to risk that Thunderbolt being used.
Yeah, Thunderbolt does a set 400, and it's bad. And Jade goes first every turn.
Yeah.
So it's 22 hits in the first phase, and then roughly 22 hits, and then 4 in the second phase.
Thankfully, at least for this one, you don't need to count the first phase, because you can kind of judge by the health bar.
Yeah.
It's when they're in second wind and have a lot of hits that's the problem. Right, so that little ball attack he's using is what you want to see the most, the quickest attack, and it barely does any damage. You can get away without healing if he does this little dust attack or the little ball attack enough.
Yeah, let's be honest, he's not going to do that much. He's going to be a jerk.
Right, I'm crossing my fingers just that I see the shock and you don't.
Yes, shock would not necessarily kill this run, but it's going to hurt.
It would definitely test your ability to recover.
Oh, so we're going to start with the Thunderbolt, though, because of course we do. Well, there's one cure right off the bat.
Yeah, usually you'd buy 3 cures if you wanted to, do the average, but you buy more if you're expecting...
Oh, come on! A second one?
Oh, there's the shock. I missed.
Jade, come on, quit being a jerk, dude.
I accidentally pressed B for some reason, so I quit out of auto battle. Oh, there's my Thunderbolt.
I've already burned 2 cures. I'm 2 attacks in.
Right, I'll be using my cure. It's extraordinary. Like, he doesn't use Thunderbolt that often, and the odds of him using it twice in a row are super unlikely, which is why you can quite safely get to 500. ish and then cure. But yeah, twice in a row is horrific.
Final boss is doing final boss's thing in a run. A third Thunderbolt.
Nice. Oh, I got a second shock. That's unusual.
You keep
Glad I got that
those.
charge shield.
The way this is going, you keep those shocks. I don't know that I'm gonna have enough cures for a second shot. Oh my goodness. Oh, he got me to 62. The fourth Thunderbolt.
Oh, I hope that you can heal at that.
This is the worst Jade fight I've ever had.
You've got to say the line. This has never happened before.
It hasn't.
Right, I'm one hit away, I think, from getting Jade to second wind. Right, so Jade grinned fearlessly, not that I kind of know how we can tell, but apparently so. So 4 hits, and I am going to be going to the final fight. So let's hope for no more Thunderbolts.
I'm actually nervous about the final fight now. I don't know that I have enough cures. I have 2 left, but...
As long as you've got 1 for the final fight, you've got the water jar as well, so you should be okay.
Yeah, I still have the second win to go, and I'm not done with the first.
I took the shocks for the team, so I'm through.
Let me finish before you say that. Jade has been out.
I need to use acorns to give Ryu his AP back. Oh god, I did one short.
Yeah, the one nice thing about the DeeJ% run is you start with double the AP that you need to cast Agni. So you're able to get away with casting it a few more times without having to do it in battle. For the normal speed run, we actually have to cast... we have to throw cures, or not cures, we have to throw acorns on Ryu in the first round with tier to get through.
Yeah, so this battle that I'm going to now, you say no here or you waste some time, I don't want to wish. So if you were playing the game casually, you would probably fight this version of her, and that's all you would see. If you don't have Agni, you don't get to see the true final battle against her. So you use Agni in the first phase. Ooh, hope it pays off. Yeah, you use Agni in the first phase, and then as soon as you attack her, she gets angry, and then shows her true form.
I have 1 cure in the water jar left. If tier goes off on me, it's going to be ugly.
I think it's almost impossible to have to heal 3 times unless she gets so many critical hits. 32 hits.
My last run she did. There's Jade. Okay. That was horrible. Right,
so now at this point you use Agni. She has got the biggest second wind bar in the game. So that attack she used there is the best one. It's quick and it does the least damage. That one there is also not so bad. But yeah, you'll do 2 hits to her and she'll go to her second wind phase. And then once she's there, it's 32 hits, I think?
It's 30 hits once she's in.
30 hits. Okay. So now we count to 30, and if we get down to about 150 HP, we use a cure. Due to her average damage output, it's really, really tough to get 1 cure battles. You're expecting 2. And I guess for a similar reason, it's really hard to get 3 cure battles as well.
Yeah. That Jade fight sealed my fate. I'm really grateful he decided not to shock me after the way he was going after me, though.
I took those for the team. Alright, so yeah, at this point it's pretty hands-off. You just sit here, you heal if needed. Big Crash is the worst attack just because it takes a bit of time, but it doesn't do too much damage. So everything does like 50 to 70, so...
Alright, so... we're done with the first tier of tier, also known as Miria for, Breath of Fire 3. She makes a little small cameo in Breath of Fire 2, just mentioned by the final boss. Oh, don't defend.
Alright, so I'm going to heal now.
And now we both count to 30.
I think I'm on 10.
Yeah. Yeah, usually you get about 10 to 15, and we're going to start with big crashes. Of course we are. Yeah, 10 to 15 is about your best heal.
Yeah, I'll be averaging like 13 or so, where it's 30 hits. Expect 2 heals. If she like crits every other attack, you might have to do 3, but I've not seen that myself. And these slams I'm getting are useless because you can't do more than 999.
Yeah, they actually all run. They run a bit slower.
You got into the second wind yet?
Yeah, she's got my HP kind of low. I'm only on 5, and I'm just about 500.
That's about right. I think I'm about to hit 20. Right, I'll heal again in a couple of hits, and then that should be all I need to do, unless I get really unlucky with critical hits.
I'm also going to heal at 10, so I'm at 9 right now.
Alright, so now I just auto battle, and we wait.
Yep. Anticlimactic final boss here.
Well, if you're not playing, if you don't get Agni, as you probably wouldn't on a casual run, just because it's so cryptic as to how you get it, you wouldn't be fighting this boss. But all the other ones up till now would have been really, really tough. A lot harder than it makes it look getting this.
Yeah, Rudra does make it easier, but if you
Not
have
quite.
Puka, well, if you have Rudra and Puka, it's not nearly as bad. But yeah, Angi's just fun.
That's it. Things like Big Crash, like being AoE, and Jade has AoE attacks as well. It just makes it. Well, you
Yeah.
actually have to heal and put some thought into the battle. Oh, slam.
So I'm halfway.
Yeah, so slam there for 140 shows that too many. And Miria's down. That is time.
Nice. GG.
Excellent. Right, and obviously being the final boss, she vows to return at some point, which we know happens because there are sequels to this game. And now we let the credits play. Oh. You're only, how many attacks are you away now?
I am on almost 20. I'm on 19.
That's not too far away. It's quite close.
Yeah, it's a good, very good run.
Yeah, as Nora said at the start, this run hasn't been, not too many people have been doing it until about a year ago.
I'm gonna
but
go
there
ahead and
is
take this heal here, just
yeah,
to get it over with.
Yeah, the run has a leaderboard on speedrun.com. If you go and find Breath of Fire, you can find the DeeJ% leaderboard, which got added recently. And I would say that this is a good route into the full game. If you wanted to end up doing that, it still teaches you a lot of the stuff you'll need to do in the full game, because the end of the game route is pretty similar to this. You learn your menuing, you learn how things work. So I would recommend, if you're interested in getting into Breath of Fire, play this. Start with the deep run after playing through the game casually if you haven't before. It's a good entrance.
And if you want to run the full game, both the Game Boy Advanced and the Super NES version have leaderboards. The Game Boy Advanced has the run feature, the money glitch. Its world record time's about 3 hours and 50 minutes. You can get a run in pretty easily. The Super NES world record, you're looking at 5, almost 6 hours. So you plan for some time if you're going to run that.
This one, I've got the record at the moment of 53 minutes 36. Out of curiosity, what was the time for this? Does anyone know? I didn't have the timer up.
I didn't see your time. I'm getting ready to.
What are you?
I'm sitting at 57:20 right now.
Okay, so probably late 55, early 56, which isn't too bad because getting the Star Shield wastes a lot of time.
There, your time 57:29 for me.
Nice.
So that's
what's your PB?
That now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. 27-second PB there.
Hey, good job. And that's with the Star Shield as well, easy improvements.
Well, that was without the Star Shield and with a really
Oh, yeah,
bad
it was.
Jade
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, that was the Breath of Fire DeeJ%. Yeah, go and play it if you like it, or at least go and play the Breath of Fire games, because they're available on the Switch now. If you've got a subscription on there, they're on the SNES version, the SNES game library. So go and play them because they're great games. They're often overlooked by the likes of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, but I think these are just as fine.
Yeah, and the like we said earlier, the DeeJ debug menu works for the Switch.
Yep.
So you can go ahead
You'll have
and
to
do this
hold
run on
your
the Switch.
Joy-Con awkwardly, but it does work. Also, as most things have these days, there is a Discord for the Breath of Fire speedrunning community. You can find it on Google quite easily. So if you're interested in running, come say hi. Everyone's pretty friendly. The section's for all the games, and we'd love to see you there.